Welcome back to Peas in a Pod listeners. Jack and Dill here breaking down NBA free agency. It's been pretty wild. It's been pretty fun. We're going to talk about LeBron. We're going to do some lightning rounds about the rest of the free agents. And then we're going to end with the most recent news that came out this morning. Kawhi Leonard headed north of the border, heading up to TL. Sit back and enjoy, and here we go. So LeBron he's a Laker, right?
LeBron's a Laker.
we all knew it was coming. I think. I told everyone that I thought he would wait a year. I thought he'd opt in, do whatever, go to the finals one more time, and then go next year when he has more flexibility. But he signed a 4-year deal. You know, like he's
there for the long haul.
Yeah. Well, it's a 3-year with a player option, but it's longer than anything LeBron signed for since Miami.
It's not like anything he's done before, which I think that was the big surprise was the contract. I think after the initial buzz, it was like, wow, LeBron, like, he's committed. He's in it for the long haul. Like, he's going to grow with these young guys like Ingram, Kuzma, and whatever. And then
yeah, and now with Kawhi off the market, we know he's not adding a star like this offseason. There's no one left. You know,
well, their cap space is pretty much wrapped up for this year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone's really worried about cap space and stuff. But I kind of like what the front office did with all these 1-year deals, right? Because come next year, they're going to be in the exact same spot with loads of cap space because they have LeBron under a big contract, and then they got Kuzma, Alonso, and Ingram still all on rookie deals, and then guys like Rondo and like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, like Lance Stevenson, like JaVale McGee, all of those guys are on 1-year deals. So come next summer, let's say Kawhi's a free agent, Jimmy Butler's a free agent, Klay Thompson's a free agent, DeMarcus Cousins is a free agent. Like, you got all these options and all this money, and I think that the 1-year deals is awesome.
And almost a year next year that's going to have a lot more dominoes to fall come free agency. Not obviously LeBron this year, but next year there's a lot of exciting pieces.
For sure. KD's up again. Actually, he's got a 1-1. He signed another 1-1 with Golden State. He's got another year left. Like.
Lots of pieces that could complement LeBron. There's a lot more to look forward to next year, like a Jimmy, or you like Klay with LeBron.
Klay, I think, is a perfect LeBron piece, like just a perfect wing defender who you can throw the ball to if you need him to score a bucket. But the knockdown shooting is unreal. LeBron will hit him in a spot every time. I love Jimmy Butler. I'm one of the biggest Jimmy Butler fans you can find. I think he'd be a great compliment. Like, I just think there's so many options. But the one thing I might be worried about, the one caveat that I have with this whole Lakers experiment is like, LeBron's going to be 35 next year. That's a little bit... And I know he's superhuman, and I know he's never shown signs of slowing down. I know you could argue that it's statistically at his best season of his career in year... he's 33 years old in year 15.
Yeah.
But now he's going to be 34, year 16. And they're not trying to make a playoff push. You know, they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be a 5 or...
It's almost like...
They're going to be a 5 or a 6 seed, but they're going to lose in the second round.
It's almost like I can kind of tell the way you're thinking. You don't want to waste one of LeBron's
I don't think you can waste a LeBron year in general.
And that makes sense.
And that's why I think I defended everything that David Griffin did in Cleveland when they traded for Kyle Korver, when they traded all those picks for Mozgov, when they were signing those guys. Like, it looked like they were just ready to self and bust, which they ended up doing this offseason. But I just don't think you can waste the LeBron year, and that's pretty much what they're doing. You know, he's going to get chemistry with Lonzo if he stays around. He's going to try and bring up Ingram. And I understand not wanting to trade those young guys for Kawhi because you might get him next year, or for a certain player because you might get him next year. I get the waiting game, but with LeBron at 33 years old, it's a little iffy, in my opinion.
So here's the one question I want to ask you. It didn't really pop into my mind because everybody's like, how's Kawhi going to fit in Toronto and DeRozan in San Antonio kind of thing. What if the Raptors trade Kawhi now?
They'd have to wait until December, so that's well before the trade deadline. I don't think they would flip Kawhi because the longer we're going to wait on this, the more it's going to become apparent that he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, especially if they're trying to move him at the deadline. Like, if you're the Raptors, we'll touch on it closer to the end of the pod, but your whole year this year is recruiting Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. Kind of similar to the Paul George thing in OKC.
Exactly. And I think it's different. I think Kawhi's a lot different than Paul George, personality-wise, and just where their values are at. I think Kawhi wants to be in LA a lot more than Paul George just wanted to not be in Indiana. But I don't think you can afford to try and shop him, because if he gets any wind of the Toronto Raptors trying to trade him,
Yeah, he's not going to. Then
he's gone
Then you're
already.
risking it all.
You've already lost him, right?
So here's my part two to this question. Like, if you're the Lakers, could this have played out any better for you? Like, obviously,
For sure,
when
yeah.
he wants to go to LA, hot weather, big market, and then he gets traded to a small market, cold weather. Could this have, like, they got to be thinking, well, there's not a chance he's going to stay in Toronto. So it kind of plays right into their hands with what they're hoping for and what was going to happen for next year's free agency.
For sure. The Kawhi thing, I think, best case scenario, I don't know, they buy him out and he just signs with LA, but that obviously wasn't on the table. The worst case scenario, they would have traded him to the Clippers, right? Or they would have traded him mostly to the Clippers is the only other option. Kawhi's been very adamant about only wanting to play in LA, whether that be the Lakers or the Clippers. I think a lot of people forget he'll play for the Clippers. Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just wants to be in Los Angeles.
Jerry West is there too. He's
For
a
sure.
big name.
For sure, and they have a lot of pieces. And but the thing with the Toronto, I think they have a great culture. The Raptors. I think Masai Ujiri's done a great job kind of fostering his whole like idea of winning and stuff. If there was a team that I would trust to try and convince Kawhi to stay, like an Eastern Conference team, mostly I think it's Boston.
Yeah.
I think it's Toronto, and then I think it's Philly. Like, Toronto's probably got the second best bet to try and keep him long term, but I don't think it's in the cards. I don't think Kawhi wants to be in Toronto. Chris Haynes came out yesterday and strictly said
Yeah.
he has no desire to play in Toronto before the trade went through.
Yeah. So back to LeBron, I like some of these signings are kind of weird. Like, when they signed Lance Stevenson, I laughed like pretty hard.
Dude.
'Cause it's just ironic.
Dude, when they signed JaVale as a Canada Day, actually, and Schmuck, if you're for long-time listeners from Schmuck Sunday's Hot Takes,
Yeah.
I just screamed across the yard at him, JaVale! And so we had a blast with that. But yeah, it's a really weird ragtag bunch of guys that they
And
put
Rondo,
together.
just Rough Riders kind of hits.
And none of them shooters, which we've usually seen LeBron be surrounded by these shooters. But I like the approach. I seriously do. I think Rondo for $9 million is a little high, and I think Lance on the mid-level exception is a little weird. When we saw Boogie go on the mid-level exception, I know that's kind of weird, but you had that room to give Boogie that money too. Yeah. JaVale on a minimum. Like, if I'm an AGM in the league, I want JaVale McGee on a minimum. 2-time champion JaVale McGee.
Yeah. The guy who's got pedigree.
Yeah. No, but with Rondo and Lance, those are two guys. They're defenders. They're lanky. They're rangy.
They're just competitors.
They're dogs, man. They're dogs. And I know Rondo's getting old, but and we're looking a little far down the line here, but when you look at teams that have fared well against Golden State, against the Warriors, it's remember when Memphis gave them troubles early in their run, and then when the Cavs beat them in 2016, they weren't outscoring them.
Yeah,
no one can outscore the Warriors.
You gotta slow it down and muck it up.
Drag it into the mud, beat them up, get physical, and I don't think there's any three better players than that right now than Lance Stevenson, Rondo, and JaVale. I think it's like they might be losing to the Warriors by 30 come playoff time if they see them in the second round, but they're gonna beat the hell out of them. Like,
they're gonna wear them down for the next opponent.
They're gonna give it to them.
And here's where I want to touch on Rondo. You mentioned the $9 million for Rondo, which could be overpaying for him, but
it's only for a year.
Come playoff time,
playoff Rondo,
it's gonna pay dividends. Playoff Rondo is gonna be significantly underpaid if he's making $9 million.
It's true. When his last year in Chicago, everyone was preaching the playoff Rondo. I said it was 2 games, pumped the brakes, then he got hurt. And then this last season with the Pelicans, we saw playoff Rondo again. And he had 21 assists in a playoff game this year.
In a playoff game.
Like, this guy knows how to turn it on.
He comes to play.
I think if he can bring it for another postseason, that'll be a lot of fun. I don't know how well the Lonzo Rondo thing works. 2 terrible free throw shooting point guards who have had struggles shooting the ball. They both on catch and shoot threes have actually, their numbers are a lot, substantially better than most people think. Like plus 34% plus kind of thing. Which is, it's not great, but it's respectable. Like, they'll shoot it. And I think with LeBron, we'll see those numbers tick up a little bit. Maybe we lose the stigma about those bad shooting point guards, but the free throws it's weird to have your 2 point guards shoot like 50% from the line. Yeah. It's a super strange thing.
It can't happen. Like,
no, and especially, and I know it's a non talked about thing, but LeBron, he's improved his free throw shooting over the last few years, but it's still, I'd say it's about average. It's not better than average.
It's not greatest of all time caliber.
No, it's an average free throw percentage, and I think JaVale McGee is around 56%. Yeah. Lance Stevenson's not a great free throw shooter, and I know it's a weird thing to complain about, but it's just come in late games, missed free throws kill me.
It's
as a
big.
fan.
It's
I
big.
can't stand it.
It's big.
So with this lineup of these guys who aren't the most consistent shooters, I think is where we're going to see kind of the Lakers' downfall this year. But no, it's going to be very interesting to see how his career progresses as a Laker. I think it's his last move. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see because there's a good mix. You got the competitive, hard-nosed veterans, and then you got the mix of these swing guys like Ingram and Kuzma, and you got Lonzo, and maybe he can learn from Rondo. And
Josh Hart,
back off
Summer League MVP.
And Josh Hart has been really good. So who knows, like, they're going to go as far as LeBron takes them. I don't think we're going to disagree on that.
Yeah, he's a stud, right? I think they're going to go. I think they're going to be a second-round team. They're probably going to run into a good team in the second round, and they're just not going to have the horses. And I think that's fine. I think everyone expects that. So that's probably our rundown with the Lakers.
Yeah.
We can move on to a few quick hitters. I think the biggest free agent changing teams that have threw everybody off guard this summer was Boogie on the mid-level exception to Golden State.
Yeah. Love it.
It's so
Not
dumb.
not as like from the Warriors' perspective, you have to love that. But as an NBA fan, it's a little bit deflating.
There's no risk. I almost think it's more of a move to not have him sign somewhere else. Like I think Boogie was kind of like do you remember when the Pelicans were kind of fighting for the 8th spot before Boogie went down last year, and then everyone kind of had this thought like, what if New Orleans got the 7th seed and they had to play Golden State in the first round? What if you had these twin towers, these two big guys playing against the Hamptons 5, the tiny guys?
Yeah.
And would that be the kryptonite? We were all really excited to see that, and then we saw it in the second round, but Boogie wasn't there, and it's. You don't have the experiment without Boogie there. And I just feel like any team that could have signed Boogie, any contender that could have signed Boogie, could have gave the Warriors fits. But instead they just signed him, and they're going to stash him until the All-Star break and not even play him until November.
Yeah.
Or
January.
They say later than that.
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion. I don't really know why. ESPN put out this article about the recovery time on Achilles injuries and stuff, and it's 9.8 months in the last 20 years. Like, that's how long it takes taking a guy to come back. 9.8 months from when Boogie went down is November. That's 9 months.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be back a lot earlier than we suspect, and if he's not,
they're not going to rush him back.
It's because the Warriors are just stashing him because they don't need him.
No.
They're the only team in the league that doesn't get better by adding Boogie Cousins, I don't think.
Yeah.
And that's such a shame. Like, Boogie's going to get a ring that I don't think any of us are going to count as actually a ring, and then he's going to go sign a $100 million contract with like Dallas or something. Like, it's, or he doesn't bounce back from the Achilles.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my Boogie take. I didn't like it. It's whatever.
I liked it.
Yeah. So another big man that went pretty early in free agency was Dwight Howard, signed with Washington.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No.
I remember this. There was a tweet from Two Peas in a Pod where like I tweeted John Wall and Dwight Howard, like, you couldn't find a better duo for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
oh my god.
And I heard Joe House from The Ringer is a big Washington fan, and he was saying, we've never seen Dwight Howard play with a point guard as good as John Wall. Which is, like, funny and fair to say, but Dwight Howard's washed. John Wall, I think John Wall's washed. I've been on this...
Dwight Howard played with Steve Nash in L.A., right?
That was L.A., though. Steve Nash was 38 by that time.
Yeah.
And he played with Kemba last year.
Steve Nash is still a name.
Yeah,
Chuck him in
he's
there.
a name. Like Jameer Nelson in Orlando.
Man, Jameer was good. Jameer was good. That's
I don't
what
know. I think it's a disaster. I think it's a last ditch effort to try and save this nucleus of Wizards players, and I don't think it's gonna work. I think they're a wreck.
I got one.
Yeah.
Yusef Nurkic.
Nurkic re-signed in Portland, right? Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, they paid him enough money for him to stay. Like, that was his market value. But if you're trying to be a championship team, Nurkic is not the third best guy on your team.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Like, he's fun, but he's just not the guy.
He's like a poor man's Jokic minus the passing.
Portland's gonna try and run it back, and I don't think they're gonna have the success they did last year. And they got swept in the first round.
Yeah.
I think Dame or CJ is gone by this time next year.
Yeah, there's lots of Dame rumors floating around. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So a fun one. Jabari Parker signed with his hometown Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
It was a 2-year $40 million deal, which seems like a lot. The second year's a team option. They can completely cut him, not guaranteed. But it's just a weird signing. No defense. That team doesn't have any defensive players.
Yeah, it was a weird signing, but I was excited about it. Like, when I first heard about it, you got him, you got Levine,
Yeah,
You got Chris
Markkanen.
Dunn, Markkanen. Like, it's kind of an exciting team. Like, not a good team.
No.
But they got some pieces where if Chicago was playing and you randomly turn on the TV one night, you might watch it just because.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to make the playoffs. It's like that because the East is so like terrible. But I think there's still 9 teams in the East that are better than them, which is saying something that there's only 9 teams that are better than the Bulls. But also like, I just don't want Jabari cutting into Wendell Carter's playing time. Like I love Wendell Carter Jr. He played awesome in summer league. It just seems like a weird signing to me.
And Parker's got horrible injury history.
Yeah, it's just been too bad.
I got one.
Yeah.
My guy, JJ Redick. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him.
Resigned in Philly.
12 mil.
12 mil, which is a pay cut from the 21 from last year.
But more than we thought.
But 12's still a lot.
That's still a lot. That's more than we thought he was going to get.
12's still a lot.
Because we thought it was going to be a wink-wink deal, and it turned out to still be a wink-wink deal. But
Yeah,
like, not as bad.
they just got another one.
They just didn't end up getting anybody else, so they could afford it.
The GM-less Sixers signed up, yeah. They didn't get better this offseason, I don't think, which is frightening if I'm a Sixers fan.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Boston's going to be a lot better than they were last year because they're going to have Hayward for all year. Hopefully they're going to have, or they hope they're going to have Kyrie all year. They've gotten better.
Speaking of recent signings, what about Marcus Smart?
They haven't officially signed anything yet. They're working on a deal that I read Woj said between 44 and 50 million over 4 years, which it's what I assumed that Marcus Smart would be getting.
That's what he's worth.
So for them to be paying him his money, I think is interesting. I didn't think they were going to sign it. I didn't think they were going to sign it.
I thought they were going to move off him or Rozier and so like.
They're running it back.
Yeah.
They truly believe.
I mean, why not? That's a hell of a rotation. They're starting 5, and then you got Smart, Rozier, flip-flop however you want.
For sure, and I mean, like...
And he can guard the other team's fifth point guard.
If we're gonna touch on the Celtics briefly here, the idea that they're gonna go Kyrie, Tatum, Hayward, Jaylen Brown, Horford as a 5 is pretty insane.
It is crazy.
You know, and then you got Rozier, you got Smart. They re-signed Baines, which I felt like was stupid.
That guy's all of Australia.
Aaron Baines made more money than DeMarcus Cousins this offseason. Per year.
Yeah, but he's got a ring.
Yeah, he does. I guess you're right. Baines has a ring. Boogie doesn't.
If you learn one thing from this podcast.
So, DeAndre Jordan signs a $25 million 1-year deal in Dallas.
Long time coming. I think we've all expected this for a while.
It's a weird signing, though. For one, like they pretty much... Because him and the Clippers opted out of their deal, like of the last year. Because he had a player option. They parted ways. They didn't do a signing trade or anything. They just let him walk.
Yeah.
And then Dallas pretty much just paid him the last year of what his deal would be in the in LA, but for 1 year. I think that proves that they want to be relevant. Mark Cuban's been one to say he doesn't want to tank, but in the West they have no chance.
No,
like zero.
No.
Even if Doncic is like rookie Michael Jordan, it's not gonna matter because the West is so stacked.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a weird signing.
It's a different one for sure.
I
got one actually.
Okay.
The Lakers.
Kentavious Caldwell.
Yes.
12 mil.
Caldwell Pope. Yeah.
12 mil is so much money, and it's so like, and you know what it is? It's the Clutch agency. Like, it's literally a wink to LeBron being like, hey, because technically LeBron doesn't own a stake in Clutch because you're not allowed. That would pretty much be tampering with every other player that signs with it. Like, just his best friend Maverick Carter owns the company. They say.
Yeah.
LeBron. That's LeBron's company. Okay, that's LeBron's agency, and Kentavious Caldwell Pope is a Clutch client. So last year they signed Kentavious Caldwell Pope for $17 million for 1 year.
Yeah.
That's seriously just to be like, hey, Rich Paul, here's all this money. Make sure LeBron comes here next year. This year they give him, it's like we said, it might be a throwaway year for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Here's another $12 million for this company.
Yeah.
It's
contract was so bad I nearly forgot it.
Yeah, like it's just a weird one.
Yeah.
Urebko, Warriors.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, whatever. Ersan Ilyasova made $21 million over 3 years in Milwaukee, which I thought was
that's a good fit, actually. I like him in Milwaukee.
Well, Bud just said he wanted him. Bud just said, give me Ersan. He's always been a huge fan of Ersan Ilyasova. $7 million over 3 years is too much in my eyes. Brooke Lopez also signed with Milwaukee on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
I know everyone says that Brooke Lopez is no good and he's washed and whatever, but I just think he's a really nice center to put with.
He's just a 7-footer that shoots like 8 threes a game, and like sometimes he'll hit 6 of them, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he can get some boards. I mean, it's not so bad. I think that's we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Paul George. I'd say the biggest surprise of the summer.
Yeah.
Stayed in OKC for 4 years. That's a long-term commitment. Russ has 4 years left on his deal too. They're riding this out.
I was happy to see that happen, to be quite honest. Just, I don't want the complexion of the league to completely shift. Like, I just wanted something to stay constant.
I think, and they also re-signed Jeremy Grant. They brought him back.
They paid him
also,
a shit ton too.
Yeah, they also brought back Raymond Felton. They're running it back since Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
And they're working on a buyout with Carmelo.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. That's
He's
a
gone.
topic for another day.
Melo's gone.
Yeah.
Like, don't get that twisted. Melo's not in OKC, and I think OKC is going to be a lot better of a team because he's gone.
Just, yeah, without him there. So
Kawhi. Let's talk about Kawhi.
the news of the day.
Yeah.
Like, easily. I don't know how exciting your days are, but it was the news of my day.
For sure. No, it was happened. I woke up this morning for work at 7 a.m. and it was happening all right in front of my eyes. It was crazy.
So a couple days ago, I saw on Twitter the Raptors had the best odds to land Kawhi Leonard, and I was like,
Odd Shark.
Yeah.
Odd Shark put it up there.
and I was like, okay, like this is fun. Like, let's make some cool tweets and whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But
It happened.
the fact that it actually happened,
Yeah, it happened.
it's wild. Like, I still am just processing it.
Yeah.
I thought so. DeMar was in the deal. We didn't know what the other pieces were going to be like early on this morning.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, wow. I knew we were going to get rid of Casey. Like, as a Raptors fan, I knew we were going to get rid of Casey or DeRozan. I didn't think we'd be sitting here middle of July. Casey's gone, DeRozan's gone,
Kawhi's in.
and Kawhi's in, and we don't know how far in or if he's when he's going to play.
Yeah.
Like, it's
maybe
it's insane.
Maybe his quad injury is just gonna make him sit out for the rest of
Like,
the year.
nobody really knows. Like,
Huge risk for Masai Ujiri and the Raptors.
huge.
They gave up DeMar DeRozan, a future first-round pick,
Their cornerstone. Put their franchise on the map.
the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time,
No doubt.
hands down.
Grew the game in the country.
No question. And everyone talks about Carter putting him on the map, whatever. Carter left you guys.
Yeah.
Carter dipped.
And that didn't end well. Not
No.
that this ended that well.
No, but DeMar would have liked it to have. DeMar wanted to be a Raptor forever.
I know.
And that was the big thing. The big pull a few years ago was, hey, maybe DeMar, he's from Compton. Maybe he spends his summers in LA. Maybe he wants to go back and play with the Lakers.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, there's a fan recording him on his camera. Says, Jay, DeMar, you going to join LeBron and the Lakers? DeMar goes, hell no. Like, hell no. I'm a Raptor for life. They shipped his ass to San Antonio.
For a guy that played 9 games last year, and Danny Green, which...
Danny Green's a good piece.
I know I shouldn't be that excited, but is Danny Green not the guy the Raptors have been needing for the past 4 years?
Danny Green is, like, I like him way better than CJ Miles.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's way better defensively. He can
Banks
shoot the ball
on
at a
the
better
three.
clip.
And doesn't shoot it as much as
And he's got a
CJ.
winning pedigree.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. I like it a lot. I was pretty excited about him. Like, obviously I should be excited about Kawhi, but Danny Green, I was like, all right. I wanted him or Gasol.
Yeah, I think Danny Green's like 32, I want to say.
Yeah, but, I mean, Lowry's like 32.
Yeah.
So they're old.
I know. Kawhi, they're obviously, if they don't make the finals this year,
Oh.
complete fuck up.
Oh, they threw it. They're all in. Like
Yeah.
they're winning. They need to win this year. Or
They need to.
Masai Ujiri is in big trouble.
And
if
I
they
think if they knew they were going to make this Kawhi trade, they don't get rid of Casey. Casey's the coach of the year. They wanted to change something up because they just felt like they were in this continuous loop of just, getting to the second round, getting to the conference finals, never beating anybody. If they would have waited 2 weeks, saw LeBron left,
Yeah.
they run it all back, and then you make the move for Kawhi, maybe.
And I was having this conversation today with my dad. Like, we were talking about it, and I was like, I'd feel a lot better about this Kawhi move, shipping DeRozan, had they kept Casey.
Yeah.
Like, why do you get rid of both? That's the thing I don't understand.
Because they didn't think they had any chance at Kawhi when they moved Casey.
Yeah.
When they moved off to Casey, it wasn't like Kawhi's on the radar. Like it was
exactly.
nothing.
But it was rushed is the main point though.
I
Right?
agree.
They rushed at it. And here's the one thing I want to touch on
Because
as far as the trade.
Quickly,
Yeah.
the reason I think they rushed was because they wanted to get Bud. They
Yeah.
wanted to have their shoe in for all these coaches that were in the mix early on, and then they missed on all of them
And they
anyways.
panicked. And
They
they
missed
had it, yeah.
anyways. They have Nick Nurse as their head coach. I guarantee 95% of our listeners have no idea who Nick Nurse is.
Yeah. I agree. And here's the one thing I want to go back to the trade. So, you look at San Antonio, they really don't have any leverage in a Kawhi deal. It's because he's been quite adamant that he wants to leave, he wants to go to LA. So any team that's going to trade him is pretty much has a good idea that he's a rental.
For a year. Literally 1 year.
And then you look at Boston. They don't want to give up Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. That's a known fact.
Obviously.
Philly didn't want to give up Markelle Fultz.
Blows my
Which
mind.
is weird. So it makes me wonder for Toronto, for those teams not even to throw in these young guys with lots of potential, but to just chuck in a proven 4-time All-Star, career 20-point-per-game scorer, and then you chuck in Pirtle, who's a good piece, and a 2019 first-round protected pick, that seems like a lot. It does seem like a lot. And
Pirtle is going to be awesome in San Antonio, for one.
Yeah.
2, DeMar's your whole franchise. Yeah. DeMar, when you guys were terrible, DeMar was terrible too. And then everyone was complaining that Toronto's never going to get a star to stay because Bosch left and and Vince Carter left and all these guys are leaving. DeMar said, "I got you." Yeah. DeMar literally tweeted, "I got us," after he signed his extension. He built this winning culture that they have now. They've been deep playoff contenders for the last 5 years because of DeMar DeRozan, because of Kyle Lowry.
They've gotten better and better every year.
And they shipped him away for a year of Kawhi.
And
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year of Kawhi Leonard.
And the thing is, so Kawhi, the thing you can think about with the trade, they have Kawhi for 1 year. They got rid of DeMar, who's obviously a max player. So they're gonna have cap space next year. But that's the thing. Like, that is something I guess you could see as an asset, obviously. But good luck attracting a marquee free agent to Toronto.
For sure.
Like, the cap space doesn't mean anything if you don't have anybody that wants to come play with you.
I agree. I think Toronto's more of an appealing market than it used to be because of the culture.
Because of what DeMar did.
Because of the culture that has been instilled there with the help of DeMar DeRozan. I wonder if he signs... Like, do you think the relationship's so broken that he'll never go back? Because I have this weird feeling that DeMar ends up back in Toronto at some point.
I don't know, man. It's been a whirlwind of emotions for me today. That hasn't even crossed my mind. But like,
it was my first thought was that when he's done in San Antonio, does he go sign with the Lakers?
Do you know off the top of your head how many years he has left on his deal?
2, I think.
2?
Two. Like this year, next year. I believe it's
I think you're right.
And if not, then it's only one more. But I think it's just 2.
My big point was just to sell the farm for rental that we don't even know is healthy.
They're trying to win.
Like, it takes guts. I think they had to do it to prove to their fan base that they were all in, I guess, if that makes sense. Just after
the fan base is not happy with
after getting rid of Casey. No, but yeah,
especially the general public. Like
he's the second best player in the world.
Well,
arguably.
I don't know if you can say that now.
He was.
I would have said he was the second or third best player in the world before last season.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Because we saw what he was doing. Like, people forget when he went down with that ankle that Zaza made happen pretty much.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose. He was up 25 on the Golden State Warriors in Game 1 of that series.
Yeah.
With, I don't know. It's just... I think he's very, very good. We haven't seen him for a literal year. He played 9 games last year, but he didn't look like Kawhi. For the Raptors... fans in the front office and I'm Canadian. I just have ties with them. I don't root for them hard like everybody else does.
Yeah, but you show interest in them.
I just hope I hope it works out. I hope they go to the finals. You know what? If they end up in the finals, I hope they win it. I hope they do.
Well, everybody that doesn't like the Warriors.
But Kawhi's not gonna be there next year.
No. Yeah.
And that's why I think I think you get rid of everything except DeMar in a trade like that. You trade Kyle, you trade Serge, you try to you could trade Norman Powell, you could trade OG, you can get everyone but DeMar.
What did you say? What did you say earlier? I think you said to me, "I'm just scared we're gonna look back here in 2 years and be like, you know what? We traded DeRozan, Pirtle, and the first round pick for Danny Green. 34-year-old Danny Green.
That's what I'm saying. As a Raptors fan, as Raptors fans, I just feel like. Try and enjoy it. If Kawhi can come out and beat Kawhi, that's the best player you've ever had. Kawhi Leonard is a Hall of Famer. He's a Finals MVP.
Is he already the greatest Raptor of all time? Is he? That's the real question.
I don't know if he's gonna play. I'd be worried if he just I don't want to play. I don't want to play because he said he was gonna do that to the Spurs. I just feel like in a year, if you don't win a championship or make a Finals appearance here, you're gonna look back and say, we just traded our son, our greatest player ever for Danny Green. And I love Danny Green, but not that much.
I love me some Danny Green too. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
So you know what? I hope they. You know what I hope happens? I hope they meet LeBron in the finals again, and LeBron beats them again. Because that would be perfect. Yeah. But
here's my one.
Are they better than the Celtics even?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's close. My one final thought. What do you think Dwayne Casey's thinking right now?
I think he's laughing.
Turns on his phone this morning, just scrolling through whatever he's scrolling through.
You know what I think Dwayne Casey's thinking? I think Dwayne Casey's like, me and my Detroit Pistons are going to get the 8th seed and beat the Raptors in the first round. That's what I think. Dwayne Casey's gonna get.
Yeah.
Me, Blake, and Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson are gonna
right hand in the dribble.
are gonna go give it to the Raptors in the first round. Hey, there's another.
What do you think Lowry's thinking?
I don't know.
That's an interesting thought.
Probably thinking about like chicken nuggets or something.
Probably mad.
He's probably thinking about chicken
he's
nuggets.
thinking about Tim's. He's been in Canada for a while.
Yeah, he. I think everyone. See, I would say he was supposed to be psyched to play with Kawhi, but the way he's acted in the last year, I don't know if he's that an appealing of a player even. Yeah. I hope it works out. I hope he's great. I love Kawhi Leonard. I like the Raptors. I hope it works out.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see how
We'll see. We'll see. I guess.
Let's let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah. So that was our free agency pod and
slash Kawhi Leonard emergency.
Kawhi Leonard emergency. Yeah. And we hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and to make our best league. Shoot or shoot.